Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson contained in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 606, The Trees Like Tassels Hit and Swung. This is one of those fun poems to just read. It's fun to read out loud. It has this tendency to seem, as one scholar says it, a long and lazy rendering, just as a summer day might be long and lazy. The poem was actually called Summer's Day, apparently by Emily, according to Miss Todd, in the Johnson treatment of this poem, and yet obviously never titled as such. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily is our playlist. I'm hoping that you've worked through our set of introductory comments in the preceding 605 poems. We just finished with 605, The Spider Holds a Silver Ball. Now, I want you to pay attention to the similes of this poem, and I want you to study the use of adjectives and verbs and the rhyme scheme of this poem. It is a melodic poem. It's a tuned poem, no doubt about it. She is celebrating a summer's day in the most brilliant of ways. Notice the movement as well. The trees like tassels hit and swung, there seemed to rise a tune from miniature creatures accompanying the sun, far psalmsters of summer, enamoring the ear. They never yet did satisfy, remotest when most fair. The sun shone whole at intervals, then half, then utter hid, as if himself were optional and had his states of cloud sufficient to enfold him eternally from view, except it were a whim of his to let the orchards grow. A bird sat careless on the fence, one gossiped in the lane, on silver matters charmed a snake, just winding round a stone. Bright flowers slit a calyx and soared upon a stem like hindered flags, sweet hoisted with spices in the hem. 'Twas more, I cannot mention how mean to those that see, Van Dyck's delineation of nature's summer day! Exclamation point. Of course, she'll reference Van Dyck, and we'll get to it. Van Dyck, of course, himself predominantly just a portrait painter, so maybe Van Dyck is the stand-in. In other words, artists can't capture what she's trying to capture here in this magnificent description of a summer's day. She'll start with trees. She's a great tree lover, of course, as we've said about her, as well as about Whitman, as well as about Emerson and Thoreau. What is it about transcendentalists? They love trees. Why? Because the tree is the great symbol of all symbols, no doubt about that. The trees, like tassels, hit and swung. Notice the use of the dash to kind of give the motion even. There seemed to rise a tune. Again, the music of nature, taking us back to our study of Emerson's classic essay, Nature. From miniature creatures, notice both capitalized, accompanying the sun. In other words, everything is in symphony. And she'll use psalmistries, taking us back, of course, to our study of the biblical corpus and especially the book of Psalms. Psalmistries of summer. Enamoring the ear. You'll remember our study of enamoring from 604 when she commented on books. Enamor in their perspective, you'll remember. Enamoring the ear, they never yet did satisfy. Remotest when most fair. In other words, there's a brilliance of proximity in taking in a summer's day. I mean, you can't explain it. You just know that it's amazing. Then she's back to the sun. Shown whole at intervals, then half, then utter hid. In other words, the clouds are moving. As if himself were optional and had his states of cloud. It's almost as if God now enters the poem. Sufficient to enfold him eternally from view, except it were a whim. I think this is the key word of the poem of his, to let the orchards grow. A bird, now notice we'll go from birds to flowers. A bird sat careless on the fence. One gossiped in the lane. It's brilliant, brilliant way to talk about the chirping of the birds. On silver matters charmed a snake. Now, we'll get to 986 and her most famous poem about snakes. A narrow fellow in the grass occasionally rides. You may have met him, did you not? His notice sudden is, the grass divides, as with a comb, a spotted shaft is seen, and then it closes at your feet and opens further on. He likes a boggy acre, a floor too cool for corn. Yet, when a boy and barefoot, I more than once at noon had passed, I thought a whiplash, unbraiding in the sun. When stooping to secure it, it wrinkled and was gone. Several of nature's people I know, and they know me. I feel for them a transport of cordiality, but never met this fellow attended or alone without a tighter breathing and zero at the bone. Of course, that poem is a nice analog to this poem when we're told that the birds are singing and the snake is just winding around a stone. Think about the word just in that line and how brilliantly she uses it. Bright flowers. Now we're back to flowers, right? And here it's the cardinal flower, one of her favorites. Slit a calyx, the collective sepals that protect the bud, of course. Calyx used in 362 and 556. And soared upon a stem. Notice stem and hem here. It's brilliant, right? The idea here is by the way, calyx was used in 339 and 1241 as well. The calyx is the earth, she'll say in 1241. It's quite brilliant. And then she'll say, like hindered flags. Is she making a reference to some of the Civil War battles that are happening while she writes this poem? It's possible. Sweet, hoisted with spices in the hymn. Notice now she'll be playing the game of all of the different senses. I think sweet here is a key word as well. 'Twas more, she says, I cannot mention. It's translinguistic to write about nature. How mean to those that see. Mean here not meaning nasty, but mean meaning you can't collect it in words. And then she'll mention Van Dyck's. Of course, here we're talking Anthony Van Dyck, the painter. Van Dyck's delineations of nature's summer day. You'll remember from our study of 291 that she argued that even the greatest painters can't rival nature's sunsets. You'll recall our study there. And I think that's the point at 2a. Nature is beyond language. I don't think there's any way you can encapsulate it. At 3b, well, as we commented, the similes, the adjectives, the verbs, they're brilliant in her work here. At 3a, well, of course, Emerson's classic essay, Nature, we've given full lectures at learnstrong.net. I can't help but think of Thoreau's Walden, a contemporary, of course, of Emily's as well, and we've given full lectures of all the books and chapters of Walden at learnstrong.net. Finally, at 3b, what is your favorite summer day in your memory? And is it true that that memory is beyond words? And that's what makes it precious. Thank you.